My name is Jaden Toller, and today I will be speaking on the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence. Throughout the 1760s and early 1770s, the North American colonists found themselves increasingly at odds with British imperial policies regarding taxation and frontier policy. When repeated protests failed to influence British policies and instead resulted in the closing of the port of Boston and the declaration of martial law in Massachusetts, the colonial government sent delegates to a Continental Congress to coordinate a colonial boycott of British goods. But when fighting broke out between American colonists and British forces in Massachusetts, the Continental Congress worked with local groups originally intended to enforce the boycott to coordinate resistance against the British. British officials throughout the colonies increasingly found their authority challenged by informal local governments, although loyalist sentiment remained strong in some areas, but not all. Throughout the winter of 1775 through 1776, the members of the Continental Congress came to view reconciliation with Britain as unlikely and independence the only course of action available to them. When on December 22nd, 1775, the British Parliament prohibited trade with the colonies. Congress responded in April 1776 by opening colonial ports. This was a major step towards severing ties with Britain. The colonists were aided by the January publication of Thomas Paine's pamphlet Common Sense, which advocated the colonies' independence and was widely distributed throughout the colonies. By February of 1776, colonial leaders were discussing the possibility of forming foreign alliances and began to draft the model treaty that would serve as a basis for the 1778 alliance with France. Leaders for the cause of independence wanted to make certain that they had sufficient congressional support. Before they could bring the issue to vote on June 7th, 1776, Richard Henry Lee introduced a motion to Congress to declare independence. Other members of the Congress were amenable at first, but thought some colonies not quite ready. However, Congress did form a committee to draft a Declaration of Independence and assigned this duty to Thomas Jefferson. By issuing the Declaration of Independence, adopted by the Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776, 13 American colonies severed their political connections to Great Britain. The Declaration summarized the colonists' motivations for seeking independence as colonies of Britain. America paid taxes but did not have representation in British government. In 1765, colonists protested the Stamp Act, which they viewed as unfair taxation. The Declaration of Independence states the principles on which our government and our identity as Americans are based. Unlike the other founding documents, the Declaration of Independence isn't technically legally binding, but is very powerful. Abraham Lincoln even called it a rebuke and a stumbling block to tyranny and oppression. This document remains a great historical landmark in that it contained the first formal assertion by a whole people of their right to a government of their choice. It also serves as a reminder that America's influence derives from the power of our example, that America's motivating ideology has always been resistance to tyranny, and that the American Revolution was a moral statement embodied in the Declaration of Independence, equality for all under law.